Hey, beautiful. Melissa here on behalf of Contemporary Living with Farmer and Hill. And I just wanted to say happy Sunday and to share with you some of the, things that we're talking about this weekend, last week, going into the following week. But before I do that, I also want you to know that Andre put up a powerful biblical lesson. It's called 15 Minutes with God. It's on YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe to our channel, because if we get 100 subscribers, we can go live, and we want to do that for you. But listen to that powerful, powerful, powerful message. I call it the church before church. I thought that was kind of cute. But what I'm here to talk about today is what the shutdown means to me. Lots of times, many people don't believe that what the government does has any impact on your life whatsoever. And in a sense, it could seem that way because you go to work, you come home, take care of the kids, you do things in the community, you go to church, or whatever it is that you do on a daily basis, how you operate. It may seem that the government doesn't impact you, but it does. So what I want to just talk about is kind of like what the shutdown means to me personally and some things that I found out so I can share them with you. So let's go over here to this next slide. So what happens? So every month you pay your bills, right? So you have to appropriate money toward what's going to be paid. Same thing. It's no different with the government. They had they wanted to put an appropriations bill to extend the funding that's paying off their bills just like you do every month. And it was blocked. It was blocked. So that means a couple of things happened. But here's how it turned out. So you needed 60 votes, as you can see on the screen. 60 votes was needed to pass. We had 45 Republicans say no, 5 Republicans say yes, and 1 no vote. And then the Democrats, you had 5 to say no, 44 to saying yes, for a total of 50 for no and 49 for yes, and 1 no vote. That 1 no vote was John McCain, and of course we know he's having health challenges now, so our prayers are definitely with him. But if you want to find out who voted and how they voted, you can go here to the NewYorkTimes.com interactive site on the Senate vote government shutdown. So they did not vote to extend the funding for that bill. It was voted no. We're not going to extend. But as you look at television and you look at things like that, it all came down to what appears to be, and I know there are other things involved, DACA versus the wall. So what happens when you pay your bills? Let's just go back to that. So when you pay your bills, you pay, your rent, your mortgage, your car note, or whatever bills you have. Now, there are these extra things you might want to slide in there, like entertainment or gift for baby shower. So you have to appropriate that. But if you're only living paycheck to paycheck, or you only have enough to pay that bill, it's not enough. You don't have enough money to do everything you want to do. And, I think the responsibility of our government is to come together and make those things work. But what it seems like, in all appearances, it looks like it became a matter of DACA versus the wall. Now, DACA is the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, meaning, let's say, for instance, we weren't from America. Because we're talking Mexico. Your parents brought you over here when you were 2 years old. You couldn't make a decision for yourself. They didn't want to leave their child behind, so they brought you with them. You had no say in it. So now you've grown up in America. You know the American way. You know how we operate. Now it's like, okay, you got to go back because you are here illegally. So that is my version of what DACA is, an overarching version of what DACA is. Now, as you know, President Trump wants to make our borders safe. So he wants to put up a wall of protection to keep out illegal aliens, keep the drugs. So this wall is supposed to protect us. So from my understanding, we do not have funding because of DACA. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about DACA. Now, DACA actually expired. It's on a 6-month extension. So basically, that was going to be null and void, and everybody, from what I understand, would have to go back who were under this DACA program, go back to their appropriate countries. So that was extended. So it ends around March 8th, I believe, somewhere around in there. So it would be null and void. And so the Democrats said, hey, you know, what about this DACA thing? We need to put that back in there. And so I'm assuming President Trump said, well, not without a wall. Okay. So according to what we heard from Schumer, he said, okay, let's put the appropriations for the wall in there. But I think it was a matter of how much money we were going to put toward the wall is what really ended all the conversation. I think President Trump wants the full amount. He wants it fully funded. And I don't think the Democrats wanted that. They wanted maybe a portion. I don't know. But anyway, because of that, because the people we put into office are not able to come to any type of negotiations, we have no extended funding. Now, this has happened throughout history. It's happened about, from what I understand, about 18 times already. So it does happen. So who's affected by the government shutdown? So lots of Americans are affected by the government shutdown. So Daniela Diaz wrote this article from CNN talking about who's affected by the government shutdown. And so she says 700,000 undocumented immigrants as part of the DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. Now, the numbers may be greater or less, but here we go. We have at least a number. 9 million children who are under the Children's Health Insurance Program. So these are people who, you know, as you can see, they earn too much to qualify for Medicaid, but not enough to afford private health coverage. So that will cease to be, we can't use that right now. So it says about 1.3 million active duty military will be expected to work potentially without pay. And then 1.87 million civilian workers, they could be furloughed. Up to 417 national parks are closed. So imagine, and by me being in the event and tourism career field, it's just amazing, because just think of what that does for tourism. You get people that's coming over from all over the world. They want to visit the Smithsonian's because that is part of our cultural tourism. And now everything's closed down. National parks as well. 19 Smithsonian's could be closed. So these are everything that's impacting a government shutdown. You can't get a passport, visas, guns. I mean, you know, gun permits. You can't do any of that. So it does affect us. Now, some of the things that still go on are the mail. The Social Security benefits still go on. And then guess what? Our wonderful Congress, the Senate and the House of Representatives, they get paid. They continue to get paid. So, I mean, that's really something to think about. And it's kind of something that to get pissed off about, because what it appears to me is that they're playing a zero-sum game. In order for me to win, someone's got to lose. And that's not how government should work. There shouldn't be, because in order for me to win, you've got to lose. We should unite and come together and be reasonable about it and just work together. This is what our government is supposed to do. So what can you do about it? Your voice, your vote. Let me tell you something, United States of these Americas. Your vote got President Barack Obama into the White House. Your vote got President Donald Trump into the White House. So you can't say your vote doesn't count. So your voice, your vote. You should protect that. You should use that to the best of your ability. Every time an election comes around, you should exercise your right to vote, because it's your voice. And like I said, our votes got President Barack Obama into the White House, and our votes got President Donald Trump into the White House. So that's really something to think about. Your voice, your vote. So here are some helpful websites, because we have to start doing this research for ourselves. So if you go to U.S. House to find out about the House of Representatives, what they're all about, what they're doing, what they're voting for, go to www.house.gov. And if you want to know what the Senate is doing, you go to U.S. Senate at www.senate.gov. And if you want to find out your local government, because guess what? The more local, the more vocal. If you want to find out about your local government, go to usa.gov/local-government. You put in your zip code, you put in your address, and you can see your state representatives and things like that. So it's vitally important that we come together and we exercise our right to vote. I am so happy over 300,000 women showed up yesterday at the march. It was just such a fabulous sight to see. And you know, it just empowers you. You have to get involved. You just can't be a part of the American process and just go to work and come home and take care of the basics. We need people to stand up. We need people to get out and vote. We need people to support politicians. I'm going to do my part by providing you information, and I want you to do something too, whatever small part that is, but you have to be involved in the process. All right, that's it. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And hey, as always, be brilliant, be you, be blessed. And on behalf of Contemporary Living with Farmer and Hill, Andre and I thank you. Bye-bye.